Hello YouTube, this is Louis Mander back with another video, and today we're going to be diving into my Adamancipators deck list. This is a deck that I used to climb the last couple of levels of the Duelist Cup and had a lot of fun with it. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing I enjoy more than breaking my opponent's boards using Sky Strikers, but I do enjoy building my own boards from time to time, and with Adamancipators we can get some pretty crazy combos. And I wanted to show you guys my deck list and give you a couple of the more interesting replays I had during my climb and get your guys' thoughts. I've had a lot of love down below in terms of comments, likes, and subscribers since the last video I uploaded, and I really appreciate it, guys. Please continue to do so if you're enjoying the channel. Want more of it, please let me know in the comments what specifically you would like. We're going to have some more Sky Striker gameplay coming up soon for round 2 of the Divisional Cup, or the Duelist Cup, excuse me. So that'll be coming out shortly for you guys if you've been itching for more of that. But without further ado, we'll kind of dive into the Adamancipator deck, and then I'll show you guys some of the replays. Alright guys, diving into the deck list. We're going to have 3 Max C's, of course. 2 Doki Dokis, as I don't like to draw too many of these to start my turn. It's a good thing to have, but it prevents some of your better synchro plays if you have too many level 2s, so I don't want to excavate this as consistently. So that's why we're running 2 as a good starter. We've got 1 Dropsies to combo with our Roxies. We've got 3 Seeker, 3 Researchers, and 2 Cartharins, which I imagine that I am butchering how to pronounce this, as I always do. But I think he's a good card to allow us the extra normal summon, and his free special back is easy to help us get back into an IP on board, so I enjoy running him at 2. 3 Ash Blossom, 1 Gigantes, 3 Kawaki Miru Guardians, 1 Revival Golem, 1 Tackle Crusader. I like the 3 Miru Guardians, as if I can get one of these on board through an excavation, it protects us from Nibiru or other hand traps potentially. Revival Golem at 1, just because I like to send him off foolish if I already draw the Block Dragon. 1 Tackle Crusader, as he comes up in preventing floodgates, which I'll have a replay that highlights his utility for us. 3 Roxies as a great starter for us, allows us to do a ton of our combos. 1 Nemesis Corridor, 2 Analyzers, 3 Suppliers, 2 Xeno Guitars, 1 Block Dragon, and 1 Nibiru. The Xeno Guitar is an okay piece. I really don't find myself using his effects too often, so that's why I just personally don't use him more. And the Suppliers are a great card for us, so we're going to run it at 3. 1 Foolish Burial, so that we can have an easier access to Block Dragon, or use it as a backup for Revival Golem or Tackle Crusader if needed. 2 Call by the Grave, 1 Crossout Designator, 1 Thunder Dragon Colossus to combo off with our Nemesis Corridor. We only use this Colossus if we're able to hard draw the Corridor, so it's not a consistent line, but it's really easy to have a banished monster, so that's why we'll use this combo. 1 Herald of the Arclight, 1 Raptite, 1 Borreload Savage, 1 Dragite, 1 Barone, 1 Sword Soul Sovereign, which I'm considering changing to something else. He doesn't come up too often. 1 Gallant Granite, Prank Kids Meow Meow, Prank Kids Doodle Doo, IP, Nightmare Unicorn, Apollo, Access Code Talker, and Underworld Goddess. My deck list is a lot more simple and straightforward than what you're going to see from a lot of the other decks that are built around the 60 card variants or using a Shizu a lot, and that's because I think just hitting your excavations every time is the best thing that you can have happen with Adamancipators. Some of the other stuff, while it can add more ceiling potential, it takes away from the consistencies, and in an event like this, consistency is the biggest thing that you can ask for from a deck, so I think it's an important piece to have as your priority. I've got some replays that I want to show you guys to show you some of the crazier boards, as well as how we can utilize combos to stop floodgates and things like that. We'll dive into the replays now. All right. Replay number 1 today was a matchup we had in the Duelist Cup, so I'm unable to go back into replay mode and see my opponent's deck, but you'll see I open a perfect starting hand. We're going to normal summon the Analyzer and get the free special summon of our Researcher. My opponent is going to chain Max C, but as you can see I have Ash Blossom, so I have no concerns about this start. This is almost everything you could ask for in an opening hand with Adamancipators. Once we get the special summon to resolve, we are going to excavate, and you'll see I get the Roxies as well as the Guardian. You could debate going the Guardian's the better play, but I was greedy and went with the Researcher. I could have gotten the Roxies here, which shows I definitely should have gotten the Kawaki Miru Guardian, but I'm not punished for it. As you'll see, my opponent does not have Nibiru or another hand trap to disrupt us. We are going to go into the standard play, which is banishing a monster with the Roxy so that we can go into the Doodle, and then get the Dropsies effect to special summon our Roxy. So we've got 2 level 4s on the field so that we can go into a Gallant Granite. We'll use the Granite's effect to always bring Block Dragon into our hand if we don't have him already. We'll banish and go into a 3-mat Appaloosa. This is always my standard starting what I want to do so that I can get the Appaloosa on board with as much arrows as possible so I don't clog myself up with an IP or something in this spot. We're going to go into the Seeker, and we hit another good Excavation with a level 4. This is what I was talking about, where you don't want to see level 2s as much, because this is going to disable you from being able to smoothly summon your best monsters with Synchro Summoning. We can discard the Carthorn, go into Raptite, hit another great Excavation and getting our Analyzer, so we've got a free level 4 tuner to pair with Raptite now. And we'll go into a Baron. At this point, we'll go back into the Block Dragon and summon a Chengying. We'll go back into Block Dragon and Gigantes so that we can get an IP Masquerena on board. And lastly, we'll use Nemesis Quarter. I could have put a Block Dragon on board, but I feel like this is just such a stronger end board. And now I don't know how my opponent breaks this without a Dark Ruler No More, or without 2 Wing Dragon of Raw Sphere modes. I don't know. So you'll see he draws for turn and immediately surrenders, because there's not a lot he can do. You'll see this is a theme with this deck. You get a lot of easy surrenders, and this is why I'm not going to be surprised if this is the last event I get to use Block Dragon in. So let's dive into replay number 2. Alright everyone, diving into replay number 2, we're going to be facing off against Runic Stun or Flood Runic, depending on your preference of how you want to refer to it, but either way, one of my least favorite decks to play against. My opponent's going to start with a pretty basic start, go Runic Tip, and add the Fountain to hand. But what's really nice for me is my opponent doesn't have any other Runic cards in his hand other than the Fountain, otherwise he would have activated it. So he just sets a Floodgate, activates Dimensional Fissure, and passes. I do use the Carthorn just so I've got the extra summon in my back pocket, and then go Analyzer so I can special summon Researcher, so I can special summon Seeker. I always like to special summon my Adamancipators all at once in case it's something like a Ghost Ogre or a Psy-Frame in his hand, that it won't prevent me from getting the others on board before I activate their effects. My opponent's going to activate the Gozen, which is going to prevent me from special summoning into any of my extra deck pretty much. So we go into the Doki Doki and send the level 4 Revival Golem so that we can get the Tackle Crusader. And this is one of the kind of unique plays that a lot of people don't know. It does require me to use my Analyzer, which is a tuner, to go into an Xyz monster, which is always unfortunate. But now I can special summon with the Researcher. I wanted to get a Kawaki Mirror Guardian just so I had a negate on board in case this didn't go through. And you'll see I add the Roxy's because I still have my extra normal summon, and I'm not going to try to go into Block Dragon since at this point I'm aware I can't remove the Dimensional Fissure. I can only choose one of these to get rid of, and I can play around the Fissure. I can't play around the Gozen. We use Tackle Crusader since when you detach something as Xyz material, it doesn't count as being sent to the graveyard. It counts as being detached, so it always goes there anyway. So this is a really heads-up play, and it allows me to resolve the Gozen match getting flipped back into his hand. And like I said, I'm very confident I can play around this Dimensional Fissure. I just need a little bit more attack power to get on the field, and I can go for turn or go for game this turn. And you'll see, I decided to link into the Boral Savage Dragon just to clear my field a little bit more. And at this point, I have game. I just want another monster on board. So if my opponent starts to do anything, I've got a negate. And we clean this one up. As you see, my opponent didn't have the best opening hand, but that kind of shows off why Tackle Crusader is a really important card. And understanding Xyz summoning mechanics is going to pay off for you as well. We've got one more replay. Let's go ahead and look at it. All right, everyone. One final replay for us to take a look at today. It is going to be a matchup against Numeron. You'll see I open a pretty decent hand. I'll never complain when I get Block Dragon in hand, but because I have the Revival Golem and Block Dragon, I have no good Foolish target, so I really need this Seeker to hit, and it does. You'll see I get a lot of good options with the Doki or the Kawaki Miro Guardian. We are going to use the Doki so that we can end up sending the Revival Golem to get the Analyzer and get another Excavate. We do get the Supplier, which gives us another Block Dragon target. I'll start to fast forward here as we get the Raptite. We hit our Excavation again into a Roxy's, which lets us do the Prank Kids play. We'll send the Foolish since we have no use for it at this point, and I draw another Guardian. We'll special the Block Dragon. Go into the 3-mat Apollo, like I said. And add back the usual targets. Go with the Seeker into the Boral Savage. We're going to combo with the Researcher, and we're going to add the Xeno Guitar in one of the instances where I do use it to go into an IP, and we'll summon back Block Dragon. We'll link these into a Baron, and then get Block Dragon back on board after we link into a Drag Knight. This hand, or this end board, looks a little bit weaker than the one we had in our first turn, but what's nice about this one is it does give us more recursion ability if we end up using the IP and the Block Dragon to link away into a Unicorn to spin something back. I'm going to have all my combos in hand. So my opponent would need to break this board, kill me, or I'm going to have combos again for days next turn. And in my extra deck, I still have Access Code Talker, the Cheng Ying. So I've got easy combo lines that I can do if I survive this turn and he somehow breaks this board. He's going to use the Twin Twisters, which I don't care about. This doesn't take away your counters, just so you know, so you can still use your negations after they do that. I am going to easily use the Apollo, and my opponent just concedes because there's not a lot I can do. As you can see, guys, this is a really fun deck to play around with. You can build some almost unstoppable boards, as well as break some boards, break even floodgates like I showed. I really appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video. It really does a lot to help out the channel and show me that you guys are appreciating the content. Like I said, I've gotten a lot of people to show some love, so I want to give a thanks to all of you. And if you did enjoy it, please consider liking, subscribing, giving a comment down below. If you want to see more Adamancipators, maybe back to Sky Striker, or any other decks, I've got a lot built, so just let me know. Thanks, guys, and hope you have a great day.